I want you to find one positive belief about yourself, your personality. The person that goes by the name me. One positive belief. And nothing as superficial as like, I've got great biceps or I love my body. Like something a bit more personal and deeper, huh? When you say that sentence, that positive sentence, see if you can put a feeling behind it. See if you can put a feeling, an emotion with it. Feel it. Is there any, give me your hand put your hand up if you can't do it. Okay, well done. Okay, let that thought go. Is there a negative one that comes to mind? Just see if there's a negative one. And check to see if there is automatically an emotional charge that comes with it. Check to see, is there an emotion that's ready to pop up there? You don't have to create one. I don't want you to create one, actually. But if there's a negativity, a criticism that you might have personally inside yourself that you mightn't even have ever voiced, when you have that sentence, is there a feeling that comes with it? Does your emotional body automatically line up with it? Okay, chuck the negative one again. Find another positive one. And stir up a feeling to endorse it, to enrich it. Okay. That exercise is a little gem of a tool for you to take away, and here's why. When your mind is just not focused on anything and it's just meandering, because mind likes to be busy, you're not doing anything, you're doing something you always do, like driving the car or lying in bed or, and mind is... If your self-confidence is low, it will run to a negative one. If your confidence is high, your access to going deeper and outside of mind will be much more open. Much more. If you're in the habit of having a negative thought that's charged with an emotion, you will be on the spiritual path forever until you separate your emotional body from your thinking capacity. Now we can do it by going to therapy and finding out, I actually can love myself finally. We can do it that way. That's one way of doing it. It's really slow. That's what I did. I didn't know any other way. But what you can do is check out. It's like, God, can I run a positive sentence and actually have a positive emotion? Or is my self-criticism so strong that it takes me quite a while to settle and rest and own a positive, affirmative quality about myself? If the negative ones are readily available, that's the work you have to do. Even if you've been meditating for 30 or 40 years, you can't avoid that part. You can't. Because that's the belief system that will be in place, that will alter your perception of the world. It will change your behavior, it changes how you interact. It stops the free-flowing, the natural order of your divine essence. It interrupts it. It changes it, it sabotages it. Why? Because you're trying to survive. If there's a lot of negative beliefs about yourself, you will be trying to survive. There will be an underpinning idea that the world isn't so safe, that I have to do certain things to keep myself safe. All of this thinking has to go if you're going to wake up. You have to see through it. It has to go. I'm going very quickly, but can you follow? Yeah? Alright. So when a negative thought about yourself came up, was there an emotion readily there? Okay. Alright, good. Well done for spotting it. Yeah. If there's an emotion readily there, what's happened is that your mind has hijacked your emotional body to keep the story of me, myself, I alive. To keep the personal alive. So the first thing we've got to do is let's split your emotional body from your thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts. They don't have a lot of power until they hijack your emotional body. If they hijack your emotions, whoa, okay, now they're strong. We know from science that neurological pathways are created like this. This is how it works. So you are wiring your brain every time you have a thought that's coupled with an emotion that supports your belief in the thought. That's the ingredients for changing the wiring in your brain. That's how it works. We know it. It's proven without a doubt. Over and over and over and over again. All kinds of test studies. Test cases. So if you have this repetitive loop, they come, You have an argument with somebody, or for no reason at all, or it's like, God, that thing is still around in my head, and it's like 4 days old since I had that conversation with somebody, and I had a different conversation with them in the shower 10 times since, and I won that conversation, but I'm still living back, this garbage, right? If your neurology is set up to have these wacky loops going on, your emotions are tied to your thoughts. And every time you run a thought that has an emotion with it, if it's negative, you are hardwiring. You are hardwiring a repetitive loop in your brain. You're hardwiring your belief system. You're hardwiring your perspective on the world. If you're running it with positive, you're also hardwiring it. But the thing is, when we have hardwired positive beliefs about our personality, it's not half as demanding on our attention, on our thinking processes. Because you're safe, you're competent, you accept yourself, you trust the world. Crisis happens and you kind of roll with it. Because you don't have the, whoa, this is dangerous, I got to protect myself, so-and-so's out to get me, so-and-so doesn't like me, this won't work, I've no power. None of that dialogue is there. You see? It doesn't run from one belief to the next belief to the next belief. So you're much more present. If your hardwired beliefs are positive, you're much more present. And if you're present, you can drop outside of your thinking mind. I work with spiritual teachers a lot. You wouldn't believe the little grains of sand that were hiding for years and years and years. You wouldn't believe it. And it's like, wow, that's so basic. And it's like, don't judge it, don't judge it, don't judge it. It just wasn't ready to be seen to now. but it just caused a little bit of grit. Just something, even a sandwich with sand in it, you know, that kind of like, something off here. So, don't judge yourself that like, you know, no, I'm way beyond those negative beliefs. I know that, my confidence is fine. It's like, just be careful. Arrogance can come in. We're not infallible, you know, we're not infallible. Always having that openness, no matter how awake, liberated, no matter how, the criteria actually for going all the way is recognizing that you're still learning, you're still growing, that there can always be a blind spot. And if that openness is there, okay, all right, now we don't have arrogance, we don't have judgment, we just have an open heart, and it's available. It's just available. So that willingness, that openness, keep that in mind if you find yourself today saying, oh, this is just way too basic, and it's like, I would be looking for arrogance. If that's your opinion, I'd be looking for arrogance. I'd be looking for something else hiding underneath that judgment. Or a rejection of what's happening, or there are layers to it. Do you see? There's layers. This stuff hides everywhere. So just see, how are you interpreting what's going on? Keep watching yourself rather than projecting and judging what's out there. Watch yourself and your response. That's the only work that matters. It's the only thing that matters. What's going on inside your own perceiving mechanism.